If you have thought about trying to kick a smoking habit, you're not alone. Nearly 7 of 10 smokers say they want to stop. Quitting smoking is one of the best things you can do for your health. Smoking harms nearly every organ in your body, including your heart. Nearly 1/3 of deaths from heart disease are the result of smoking and secondhand smoke. You might be tempted to turn to electronic cigarettes as a way to ease the transition from traditional cigarettes to not smoking at all. Vaping is less harmful than smoking, but it's still not safe. Youth and e-cigarette. 20%, 5 million, of all youth use e-cigarettes, a 135% increase in just 2 years. The use of e-cigarettes is unsafe for kids, teens, and young adults. Most e-cigarettes contain nicotine. Nicotine is highly addictive and can harm adolescent brain development, which continues into the early to mid-20s. It causes you to crave a smoke and suffer withdrawal symptoms if you ignore the craving. Nicotine is a toxic substance. It raises your blood pressure and spikes your adrenaline, which increases your heart rate and the likelihood of having a heart attack. What are e-cigarettes? E-cigarettes are electronic devices that heat a liquid and produce an aerosol, or mix of small particles in the air. E-cigarettes come in many shapes and sizes. Most have a battery, a heating element, and a place to hold a liquid. Some e-cigarettes look like regular cigarettes, cigars, or pipes. Some look like USB flash drives, pens, and other everyday items. Larger devices such as tank systems, or mods, do not look like other tobacco products. E-cigarettes are known by many different names. They are sometimes called e-cigs, e-hookahs, mods, vape pens, vapes, tank systems, and electronic nicotine delivery systems, ENDS. Using an e-cigarette is sometimes called vaping. How do e-cigarettes work? E-cigarettes produce an aerosol by heating a liquid that usually contains nicotine, flavorings, and other chemicals that help to make the aerosol. The liquid used in e-cigarettes often contains nicotine and flavorings. This liquid is sometimes called e-juice, e-liquid, vape juice, or vape liquid. Users inhale e-cigarette aerosol into their lungs. Bystanders can also breathe in this aerosol when the user exhales it into the air. E-cigarette devices can be used to deliver marijuana and other drugs. What is JUUL? JUUL is the most popular brand of e-cigarette in the US and is shaped like a USB flash drive. All JUUL e-cigarettes have a high level of nicotine. According to the manufacturer, a single JUUL pod contains as much nicotine as a pack of 20 regular cigarettes. News outlets and social media sites report widespread use of JUUL by students in schools, including classrooms and bathrooms. Approximately 2/3 of JUUL users aged 15 to 24 do not know that JUUL always contains nicotine. Why is nicotine unsafe? Most e-cigarettes, vapes, contain nicotine, the addictive drug in regular cigarettes, cigars, and other tobacco products. A CDC study found that 99% of the e-cigarettes sold in assessed venues in the United States contain nicotine. Some vape product labels do not disclose that they contain nicotine, and some vape liquids marketed as containing 0% nicotine have been found to contain nicotine. Nicotine can harm the developing adolescent brain. The brain keeps developing until about age 25. Using nicotine in adolescence can harm the parts of the brain that control attention, learning, mood, and impulse control. Nicotine addiction affects youth mental health. When a person is dependent on, or addicted to, nicotine and stops using it, their body and brain have to get used to not having nicotine. This can result in temporary symptoms of nicotine withdrawal. Nicotine withdrawal symptoms include irritability, restlessness, feeling anxious or depressed, trouble sleeping, problems concentrating, and craving nicotine. People may keep using tobacco products to help relieve these symptoms. Youth may turn to vaping to try to deal with stress or anxiety, creating a cycle of nicotine dependence. But nicotine addiction can be a source of stress. What may start as social experimentation can become an addiction. The most common reason U.S. middle and high school students give for trying an e-cigarette is a friend used them. The most common reason youth give for continuing to use e-cigarettes is I am feeling anxious, stressed, or depressed. Nicotine withdrawal improves after quitting. As long as a person stays quit, withdrawal symptoms will fade over time as the brain gets used to not having nicotine. Nicotine withdrawal improves after quitting. As long as a person stays quit, withdrawal symptoms will fade over time as the brain gets used to not having nicotine. Other risks of e-cigarettes for young people. Some of the ingredients in e-cigarette aerosol could also be harmful to the lungs in the long term. For example, some e-cigarette flavorings may be safe to eat but not to inhale because the gut can process more substances than the lungs. Defective e-cigarette batteries have caused some fires and explosions, a few of which have resulted in serious injuries. Children and adults have been poisoned by swallowing, breathing, or absorbing e-cigarette liquid through their skin or eyes. What is e-cigarette aerosol? E-cigarette aerosol is not harmless water vapor. The e-cigarette aerosol that users breathe from the device and exhale can contain harmful and potentially harmful substances. The aerosol that users inhale and exhale from e-cigarettes can expose both themselves and bystanders to harmful substances. It is difficult for consumers to know what e-cigarette products contain. Marketing e-cigarettes to youth. E-cigarettes come in various flavors, including fruit, candy, mint, and menthol. Most youth who use e-cigarettes first start with a flavored variety, and flavors are the primary reason youth report using e-cigarettes. In 2021, most youth who reported using e-cigarettes used flavored varieties, 84.7%. Among middle and high school students who currently used any type of flavored e-cigarette in 2021, the most commonly used flavors were fruit, 71.6%, candy, desserts, or other sweets, 34.1%, mint, 30.2%, and menthol, 28.8%. FDA has taken steps to prohibit certain companies from selling youth-appealing, flavored disposable e-cigarettes and flavored e-liquids without authorization. E-cigarettes leads to cigarette smoking. Many young people who use e-cigarettes also smoke cigarettes. There is some evidence that young people who use e-cigarettes may be more likely to smoke cigarettes in the future. Conclusion. E-cigarettes expose users to fewer harmful chemicals than burned cigarettes. But burned cigarettes are very dangerous, killing half of all people who smoke long term. The use of any tobacco product, including e-cigarettes, is unsafe for anyone.